Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our NFL Week 13 preview between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Dolphins. This week versus the New York Jets, the Miami Dolphins can get pressure on Geno Smith in that passing game with a zone blitz. And I do believe they have the personnel to get creative with that zone blitz. When you look at Deion Jordan and what he brings to the table, tremendous athlete that has a lot of athleticism, enough actually to drop back in coverage. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. When you see cover three, this is straight cover three. This is no disguise in the coverage. So Geno Smith is going to see one safety. He's going to either think cover one or cover three. So it's not disguised in the coverage because the corners will drop in their deep third. And the safety is back in the deep third as well. So there's no disguising there. But where the disguise comes with the cover three is the underneath coverage. We don't know who's going to drop back because essentially you're going to think these guys are dropping back and, maybe this guy is coming off the edge. But what we're going to do, we're going to drop the defensive end into the hook the curl zone. This is Deion Jordan. We're going to have him on the strong side. We're going to get a good push and drop him back into the hook the curl area. Strong safety's job is to show that he's going to drop into the flat, but as the cadence starts to wind down, he's coming off the edge. Strong side backer is dropping back in the curl to out responsibility. The same with this linebacker here, dropping back into his curl out responsibility. Defensive end is coming upfield. We're going to run a twist with this defensive tackle and this middle linebacker. We're going to have the defensive tackle cross the face of the center and attack the A gap, and we're going to have the Mike backer come and attack the B gap. And we're going to have the defensive tackle again push and drop into the hook to curl. So that's where the rub lies. We're going to have two defensive linemen dropping into hook to curl coverage. So that way Geno Smith probably thinks, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive linemen is coming and maybe this outside backer. But what happens, the backer drops along with the other backer, and we have the middle backer blitzing, and we also have two defensive linemen dropping into the hook to curl area, thus taking away the quick throw or just getting him to hold that football a little bit too long to where maybe this Mike backer coming down the B gap can get him on the ground. And we also know that the Jets offensive line right now is having problems picking up blitzes and also stunts from a defensive line. So I think this type of a zone blitz, especially with the personnel that they have at their disposal, could be successful this week versus the Jets if you're the Miami Dolphins. So again, they have to find ways to utilize Deion Jordan's athleticism and dropping him into coverage, and what looks to be your basic cover three could lead to a big play for that Dolphins defense. The New York Jets know they will see a lot of pressure from the defense of the Miami Dolphins, and I think they have to move Geno Smith off the spot, and they could do so with counteraction and waggle him out on the edge, on the perimeter, getting him to utilize his athleticism and also giving him three-layered routes to throw the football to him. Show you how they can get that done. We know the Dolphins will probably send extra pressure coming, let's say, weak side. So let's say they want to send the free safety weak side, and we're running a counter play, and we're going to show you how we can run the counter and waggle him out, Geno Smith out, and get a three-layer route strong side and also utilize his athleticism of getting him on the move. So what we're going to do to combat this free safety blitz, we're sending the wide receiver up, and he's running the in route. And what we're going to do here, we're going to have everyone blocked down. Everybody's blocking down. And the counter action, we're going to pull the backside guard. And what we do here, running back takes his counter step. He's coming around picking up that that safety off the blitz. And we're going to have the fullback leak out and run the out. Geno Smith fakes the counter, waggles out, and that's a slow waggle. If he sees nothing is open, then he can turn it upfield and make something happen with his legs. But he also has the luxury of having the backside guard coming around to lead him as well. Now we're going to have the tight end walk up and run the corner route. So now you see where it can pull the safety, and we have the wide receiver running the clear route. But Geno Smith can make this throw in his sleep, and this is where he should go with the football. And if this is taken away, then we know he has this route as well. And if worst case scenario happens, he has the athleticism to turn it upfield and get a cheap 4 to 5 yards. So that's how they can combat the blitz, turn everything back, wash everything down with the fake counter action, waggle Geno Smith out, giving him a quick read, also giving him the potential for the big play downfield and a safe throw to Cumberland that he loves to hit Cumberland as well. So they have to get him on the spot. They have to help him out with that offensive line that can't pick up a blitz or can't pick up a stunt. So I think that's how you get him off the spot, give him three-layer routes, allow him to utilize his athleticism, and I think the Jets can move the football up and down the field versus this Dolphins defense. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For Miami, they have to play the game on fast forward. On both sides of the ball, you want to play with tempo and a sped up pace. Make the Jets adjust and match your intensity and tempo. And on defense, I will go with heavy press on the outside. The Dolphins have the advantage on the flanks with their cornerbacks, and they can get in the face of these Jets wide receivers and disrupt the timing of the passing game. And they have to clean up the sloppiness. Focus on the little things, and big things will happen. Not getting out of position defensively, not dropping catchable passes. Tannehill feeling the pressure and not taking sacks. Those things can help you win football games. And for the Jets, you want to make the Dolphins think defensively. Offensive coordinator Marty Morningwig's play calling can definitely accomplish that and create that hesitance for that defense. And anytime you can create hesitance for a defense, it calms the pressure down. And Geno Smith has to get into a rhythm very early in this ball game. It's vital for him to get into that passing groove. And if I'm an offensive coordinator, I work the short passes, the flats, the seams, and then the deep passes in that order to help him develop that confidence, that rhythm, and that way he can be effective throughout the course of the ball game. And I would also tilt the coverage toward Mike Wallace. That way Antonio Cromartie can get more aggressive with him at the line of scrimmage to try to throw off that timing, knowing that he has that help over top. Now here are some in-game adjustments that you want to watch out for. For the Dolphins, you look at how they can take away Jeff Cumberland. You want to force Geno Smith to go to those receivers on the outside where you have the help with your cornerbacks and the sideline. Take away his security blanket and force him to find other targets in the passing game. And how can they protect Ryan Tannehill? Whether it's protecting him with an extra blocker, maybe going max protect, maybe a running back or a tight end, or even keeping a receiver in at times, or just telling him he can take off and run because he is an athlete, but they have to protect him if they want to have any type of success this week versus the Jets. And it'll be interesting to see how the Dolphins continue to attack vertically. They opened things up last week versus Carolina. That bodes well for the future of this Dolphins passing game. Continue to attack vertically is going to loosen up that pressure of the Jets. And for the Jets in this ball game, you want to keep an eye on how they challenge the depth of the Dolphins secondary. Like I've mentioned before, this is a team that's coming in with a lot of injuries on the back end, so they can expand that defense, force those nickel and dime defenders on the field, and attack the slots of the passing game. I think that's how they can have some success throwing the football. And it'll be interesting to see if the Jets zone blitz on third down. Ryan Tannehill is a guy that wants to get the football out of his hands quickly. He loves to throw the speed out or this quick slant. And if they can zone blitz to cover those two routes, I think they could be in great position to come away with a turnover or at least get off the field. And on offense, keep an eye on how the Jets keep it condensed by formation, whether it's utilizing different bunch formations or cluster formations to try to generate big plays in the passing game with those natural rub routes and pick routes. And I think that's some things they can do to help Geno Smith get into that rhythm that we talked about earlier. The X factor for the Dolphins will be Charles Clay, their tight end H-back. Big fan of his game and what he can do to a defense. I think if they can get him involved early, it opens things up on the outside because he'll do a great job of controlling the middle of the field. And for the Jets, the X factor has to be Santonio Holmes. Here's a guy that's their only breakaway threat at the receiver position. They're going to have to hit some big plays downfield to loosen up that coverage. And the Jets are entering this ball game facing a secondary that's going to be without some key pieces. So Holmes definitely has to go off in order for the Jets offense to have success. I like the Dolphins in this ball game. I like what I saw last week from the deep passing game. I think there are going to be some opportunities this week versus the Jets to hit those big plays downfield. But more importantly, their defensive line, I believe, has the advantage versus that Jets offensive front. And I think they'll do a great job in slowing down Geno Smith, that running game, and what the Jets want to do offensively. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Dolphin fan forums and Jet fan forums for always showing football game plan support.